Is that the official Santa Cruz hat?
No. It's not a different network. It's my Director Halakowski hat.
Ready, Floyd?
Yes, sir. Ready? You are.
I don't know what we're going to do when you're not around, and we don't know when
You're going to do it right the first time. That's what's going to happen.
Absolutely. Good morning. I'd like to call the Arizona State Transportation June meeting to order. And start, since we're in your district, Member Bracker, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
You join me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Karen, will you please call the roll?
Chairman Maxwell.
Present.
Vice Chair Howard.
Present.
Board Member Elters.
Present.
Board Member Peshlichai.
Here.
Board Member Bracker.
Present.
Board Member Coleman.
Present.
Board Member Giles. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum. You may proceed.
All right, thank you. I just want to say thank you for allowing us to host the meeting down here today. And thank you an awful lot for everybody who showed up last night and at the welcome reception. There was a lot of brisk conversation about a lot of things that were going on in this region, the importance of this region, the importance of the border economy to not just southern Arizona, not just, those of us in Pima and South, but to the entire state. So I really appreciated some of the conversations. There's a lot of work left to be done. Obviously, big things going on at the DeConcini Port of Entry. There's still ways to even improve the operations at Mariposa and really get the economy flowing through Nogales. And that is what this region really does. We had some conversations on I-11, which is, again, something that's a long-term vision for us in the future in this state. A lot of challenges there, but it is all based around the idea that the Mariposa Port of Entry is where things start in the state, the entire border. All the ports play huge impacts on our economy and our tourism and our travel and our quality of life. But really, this is a great place to be, and the turnout from all the elected officials as well as all the folks who work in the area supporting this, the port and the others, was just phenomenal last night. So I personally wanted to say thank you for that opportunity and that conversation. Any other board members like to make any comments? Member Peshlichai.
Good morning. Thank you. This is my first time in Nogales, and I'm really excited about it. I was expecting flat desert cactus every 100 feet or so, but I'm here with my daughter, and I just want to let you know that I think it's really amazing and beautiful to be here, and I'm excited for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman Mickle.
Member Bracker, I figured you would want to talk.
I wanted to thank the Greater Nogales Santa Cruz County Port Authority for hosting the mixer last night, and for everybody for showing up, the elected officials and the members of the Port Authority. I thought it was a great opportunity and to have the conversations with an amazing amount of board members from this board, and that interaction is so important to hear from the community at these small events. It's where this board really gets a lot of information with what's happening on the ground. So I want to thank everybody for their time and for the Port Authority for arranging that. And the board members, thank you very much for driving in last night for that. And Jen, we missed you, but we understand. You got a meeting.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Okay, let's go ahead and proceed with the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. See, I told you, as soon as Floyd disappears, we still got to figure it all. Things. Member Alters, you want to make some comments and fill in the time? Not to put you on the spot, but...
Not really.
Okay, so as I believe the plan, this is going to be a first, and with all first, things get challenged. We're going to, hopefully in the future, continue to do this, but we have a visual, electronic reading of the title section. So proceed, let's give it a shot.
He's ready, go ahead.
Pursuant to Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Americans with Disabilities Act, the Arizona State Transportation Board and ADOT do not discriminate on the basis of race, color, national origin, or disability. No person will be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be otherwise subjected to discrimination under the Arizona State Transportation Board or ADOT program or activity. To assist in measuring the public's participation, we ask each individual to please complete an online self-identification survey, English or Spanish language version, and the link to that survey is shown on the agenda. For those in person, please fill out a survey card located at the entrance to the meeting room and leave these cards there. We will pick them up after the meeting. By completing this voluntary survey, ADOT will be able to determine who attends its public meetings and how the department can improve participation. The survey will also help ADOT fulfill federal reporting requirements. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So, Member Bracker's going to have to keep me on the green light or not. Appropriate times to have it on and off. Sometimes I get confused on that one. All right, so at this time we will move on to call the audience. If you've joined us by WebEx and you plan on speaking through WebEx, everyone please keep your phones or your WebEx system muted until we call your name. And at that point, we will give you the permission to raise your hand. By raising your hand, that will let us know who you are. We can unmute you and let you make your comments. If you're here in person, there's an opportunity for everyone here today to speak. If you're interested and you have not done so, and would like to still speak, you still have time to fill out a request for public input form and give it to the board secretary up front, and we will get you on the list. There will be a 3-minute time limit, and we will begin with Mayor Jorge Maldonado, Mayor of Nogales. Sir, thank you. It's always good to be here, and we appreciate your continued support and engagement with us.
It's on.
I want to thank you, Board, Scott, Director, for being here. And this is a great opportunity for Nogales and Santa Cruz County to come forward with projects and issues and how we could work together in the community to fix our future for our community. We have a big project with South 32 coming forward. They're going to be coming down Patagonia 82 into Grand Avenue and up Mariposa. We still don't know volumes, but I've talked it over with ADOT's personnel, and basically it's something that, heavy trucks coming in our Grand Avenue and up Mariposa, and even 82, which is, I think, very concerning to the community as to obviously the hard lifespan of the roads. And so, wherever we could help, whatever we could do to understand and the position of ADOT, the state, and how the city could collaborate with you guys into making this a very good and feasible work. The other thing is, you guys do a great job supporting us in cleaning the roads. I think we've been pushing a little bit harder and harder every time on wanting to see our I-19 all the way, for me it's Nogales and Rio Rico are one same community. It's all the cities in the county and the counties in the city. So if we could stretch it farther north on the cleaning accessibility of the median, the last 3 approvals of streets, which is Industrial Park and then La Media, which is up by the Border Patrol Station, and then Frank Reed would probably hopefully get it done, once the ratings and all that let us. But we're already started on Industrial Park, and that was actually, you could say that was a promise I did to all the warehouses there since my first day of office as the mayor. So hopefully I'll see it before my term is done. But all this work that you guys do in the community, people don't realize that yes, Mariposa and Grand Avenue belong, you could say state properties, you could say, but we're here to help and support and work together. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, we're going to go online at this time to State Senator Wendy Rogers. Can you please get her cleared on to begin her comments?
Ms. Rogers, please raise your hand so I can identify you.
Yes, if you could hear.
Chairman, I'm not seeing Senator Rogers online right now.
All right, so I know she's got some busy activities today. If you can keep an eye open, and if you see her, come on, please let me know. We'll go back to the in-person comments at this time. All right, I'd like to go to Luis Carlos Davis, County Supervisor, District 1.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. My name is Luis Carlos Davis, and I serve as Santa Cruz County Supervisor for District 1. On behalf of Santa Cruz County and the residents of District 1, I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to the Transportation Board and the Director and ADOT staff for your continued partnership and commitment to our region. First, I want to thank you for the cleanup and maintenance of the medium along Interstate 19. This corridor serves as a front door to Santa Cruz County and the state of Arizona. The improvements have enhanced the appearance, safety, and overall experience for residents, visitors, and the thousands of commercial vehicles that travel this route every day. Your effort demonstrates pride in our transportation system and respect for the communities it serves. I also want to recognize the Transportation Board and ADOT for the many transportation projects that have been completed or are underway throughout Santa Cruz County. These investments strengthen the infrastructure, improvement the movability, and help ensure that our communities remain connected and economically competitive. The importance of Nogales and Santa Cruz County to Arizona cannot be overstated. Our region serves as one of the state's most vital international trade gateway. The Port of Nogales is the major economic engine facilitating the movement of billions of dollars in goods each year and supporting industries throughout Arizona and across the nation. From agriculture and manufacturing to logistics and tourism, the economic benefits generated here extend far beyond our county lines. Because of this regional significance, transportation investment in Santa Cruz County and investments in Arizona's future, reliable, efficient transportation infrastructure support commerce, create jobs, and strengthens the state's economy. Interstate 19 and our state highway system are crucial links that connect Arizona to international markets and provide opportunities for continued growth. As we look ahead, Santa Cruz County remains committed to working together with Transportation Board and ADOT to address future transportation needs. We know that increasing trade volume, economic development, and community growth will require continued investment and strategic planning. We will be seeking your support for future projects along Interstate 19 and throughout the state route network that serves our region. We greatly value our partnership with Transportation Board and ADOT. Your leadership and commitment have made a meaningful difference in our communities, and we look forward to continue our work together to build a safer, stronger, and more affluent transportation system for all Arizonians. Thank you for your service, your dedication, and continued support to Santa Cruz County.
Thank you, Supervisor. Appreciate your participation last night as well. Guillermo Valencia. And as you come up, thanks again for your sponsorship of last night's event.
Good, yeah, you bet. Good morning, my name is Guillermo Valencia. I'm ex-chair of the Nogales and Santa Cruz County Port Authority. So you'll be hearing from Josh, but Bruce and I are ex-chairs of that organization. Chair Maxwell, members of the board, thank you for coming to Nogales and allowing us this space to talk to you, greet you, get you to know better, and for having your meeting here. For us, it's very important that you listen to the residents of our community. That was part of our job that we did when we wanted to implement and get approved State Route 189. If you haven't had a chance to go up and down, travel up and down that beautiful piece of infrastructure, you should. That project works tremendously, but the amazing thing was the support that we got. The support that we gathered around the state, the stakeholders around the state, how they realized that this was a very important project, just not for us, but for everybody, Southern Arizona, the state, and the nation beyond. So I think that was the beautiful part of that project, the partnership that we got. Having said that, we have another project that's of equal importance to the state, to the nation, and to our community. And that's the Port of DeConcini, the modernization. You'll be hearing from Josh, our chairman, more about that and specifics about that, so I'll leave it to him. But you'll be hearing a lot from us and stakeholders of our community about that project going forward. It's a 7, 8 year, 9 year project, so we have plenty of time to convince you of how important it is. And lastly, if you can tell, I have a pin here, and if you can't see it, it says I-11. Years ago, when I was still chairman and chairman's after, we've gotten into conversations about I-11. And here in Santa Cruz County, everybody's aligned. The footprint in Santa Cruz County, nobody has any complaints. And my ask to you would be, let's make Santa Cruz County and I-19 the first stretch of I-11. Let's get it signed and on paper. That's it. Thank you for your time. Appreciate your visit.
Thank you, sir. Sort of taking some of the thunder, leading to the next speaker is Josh Rubin, chairman of the Nogales Santa Cruz County Port Authority.
Good morning, Chairman Maxwell and members of the board. My name is Josh Rubin, and I am before you as the chairman of the Greater Nogales Santa Cruz County Port Authority. And I would like to recognize board member Bracker, a former chairman of our organization and a longtime advocate of transportation investment in Southern Arizona. For more than 2 decades, the Port Authority has enjoyed a strong partnership with ADOT. The partnership has helped deliver transformative projects such as SR 189 while strengthening Arizona's most important international trade and tourism corridor. While our community and our corridor face many transportation challenges today, we would like to briefly highlight 3 priorities that continue to require your attention and your support. The first one is the modernization of the I-19 interchanges at Rio Rico and Ruby Road. We appreciate ADOT's ongoing collaboration with Santa Cruz County and as design efforts move forward. These interchanges serve as a critical gateway for freight movement, regional commerce, and residents. Continued growth in truck traffic, residential development, and cross-border commerce is creating increasing congestions and safety concerns, particularly near schools and residential neighborhoods. As design advances, we respectfully ask that the construction funding remain as a priority so these improvements can move forward without delay. Second, as already mentioned, the modernization of the Dennis DeConcini Port of Entry in downtown Nogales, a $1.5 to $2 billion investment. The recent completed feasibility study confirms that what many of us have already known. The existing facility no longer meets the operational and security and mobility requirements of a modern international port of entry. The project will require significant coordination among our federal, state, and local partners and will have major implications for traffic circulation throughout the downtown Nogales and access to I-19 Grand Avenue. We look forward to working with ADOT on the transportation planning, mobility analysis, and future infrastructure improvements necessary to support what will likely become the largest port modernization project on the southern border. Third, we continue to seek assistance in addressing the deterioration of key intersections along Grand Avenue. These intersections were not designed to accommodate and sustain the heavy truck volumes generated by international trade. Reconstructing these facilities with materials and designs better suited for freight movement will improve safety, reduce maintenance costs, and support the efficient movement of commerce through our community. Let me close with a reminder of the scale of activity supported by this corridor. Last year, Nogales processed 10.7 million people, 3.6 million vehicles, and more than 408 northbound trucks entering Arizona from Mexico. Border crossing data through April shows and indicates that we are on track to set a new record for trucks in 2026. Now, the 408,000 northbound trucks does not include the trucks coming into our community to also pick up product or drop off raw material. These numbers underscore the transportation investment in Nogales are not local projects. They are statewide economic investments that benefit businesses, consumers, and communities across Arizona. We thank you for the opportunity to submit written comments for the 5-year plan, and as undertake the final debate on plan, we ask that you keep these priorities in mind. On behalf of the Port Authority, thank you for continued partnership, your leadership, and commitment to keep Arizona transportation system safe, efficient, and globally competitive. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go to Allison Moore.
Thank you very much to the ADOT board and to ADOT staff for being here on behalf of the members of the Fresh Produce Association of the Americas. This is a great opportunity to speak about one very large project that is near and dear to our hearts. To start, the FPAA is a trade association representing U.S. companies that import fresh produce from Mexico across the U.S. and Canada. What happens in Santa Cruz County does not stay in Santa Cruz County. It actually feeds America, North America. The FPAA has a long history of working closely with ADOT. We've done amazing things together and come up with a lot of creative workarounds for things. We have binational transportation planning, we have safer truck screening programs, we have creative financing projects for financing processes for big projects, and we look to ADOT and this board to figure out a way to do that again for Ruby Road and Rio Rico Drive and that whole area. The project actually encompasses one of the largest produce hubs on the southwest border. Each day, 1,800 trucks arrive from Mexico and access that industrial park encompassed by this project, and up to 4,000 additional trucks in the U.S. come to town to pick up produce in that area. And what happens in that confined area actually goes from Vancouver to New York and all points in between. The Ruby Road Rio Rico project would create two-way connectivity and improve access in that area. And these are not convenience upgrades. They are necessary fixes to keep a national food supply functioning. It means people continue to have food on the table. We have to consider the risk in that area right now. Today, this industrial park is effectively relies on one single point of access. One major incident could halt thousands of trucks, disrupting food distribution networks nationwide, harm Arizona businesses, and create serious local safety concerns. This project is about food security for the entire country, ensuring that hundreds of millions of citizens have access to fresh fruits and vegetables. When there are supply chain disruptions on these specific roads, there are long-reaching impacts across North America. This project is about economic security. The roads here support 5,000 jobs within the state and tens of thousands of jobs along the produce supply chain. It's about safety. It's about preventing the idling of trucks and cars and buses, all intermingling in congested areas and potentially sitting on I-19 waiting to exit. And there's also the human element. I talked with one member and he said, I just did the math and I've driven an additional 23,000 miles over the last 20 years and have lost 26 days of my life that I will not get back because of the issues in that area. So we have to find a way to build it. We look forward to sitting down with ADOT to figuring out how we do that. And I thank you guys all for being here and for your time and listening to us. So thanks.
Thank you very much. Greg Byers.
Good morning, Chairman and board members. I'm Greg Byers. I'm here representing the Pima Association of Governments and the Regional Transportation Authority. I wanted to give you an update of where we're at with the recent RTA that was just passed in March. That included both a plan for transportation as well as an excise tax. We have been very busy right off the bat in trying to put this program together. It is a 20-year program that we're working on. In this program, it does not only have local projects, which are fairly extensive across our region within the county, but it also has 8 major projects that are ADOT projects along I-10 and I-19. So it is truly a regional plan for all of the different types of corridors we have. Overall, this plan over a 20-year period, we're talking about expending a little over $5 billion with all of the funding that is put together in this. To give you an idea of that, the extensive amount that is we have to be able to expend over $820,000 a day in order for us to complete this project within that 20-year time frame. So it is a pretty extensive project. In so doing, we have been working with all of the jurisdictions. We've already met with them for project delivery. They are very excited to get a lot of this stuff done. We're trying to make sure that as we get these projects done, we coordinate all of the projects across the region to maintain traffic flows so that we're not interfering with one project, interfering with another, and maintaining those flows of traffic, minimizing the conflicts with the public. That's number one. That is on our list to do. The other thing that we're looking at is with all of these projects, we got to make sure that not only are they being done, but they are being done within the budgets that we were set with the RTA itself. So there's timelines set with 4 different periods of 5 years each. We are extensively working on the first 5-year segment. That is going to basically set the tone for the remaining portion of the 20 years. The RTA is doing something that's much different than was done with the original RTA. We will actually be doing full project development. The City of Tucson has already assigned 2 projects to us that we will be developing. We are staffing up right now to be able to do that. Not only will we be doing that, we will be helping all of the jurisdictions with any portions of those projects that they need so that we can keep them going, keep them on schedule, and make sure they're maintaining budget. So just wanted to give you guys some update on what we're doing, and I'll kind of keep you informed as we go. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. So do we have any more speakers here in the public? All right, seeing none, we're going to go on. Can we please give a check and see if Senator Rogers has joined us? She'll be first to speak.
Chairman, I have checked and I cannot see Senator Rogers online.
All right, we'll check in at the end of the meeting, or at the end of all the audience one last time with her. In that case, let's move on to Pat Lockwood.
Ms. Lockwood, please raise your hand so I can identify you and unmute. Ms. Lockwood, I have sent you a request to unmute. Begin your voice.
And Ms. Lockwood, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sorry.
Okay, ma'am, you can begin your comments.
Thank you. Sorry about the noise. My name is Pat Lockwood. I live in Payson, Arizona. And I'm calling about the Highway 87 and Highway 260 project that I understand has been slated for August of 2028. It's already been determined what a high traffic area this is for 18-wheelers, RVs, moving trucks, building material trucks between Beauregard, Heber, Holbrook, and the Valley of Phoenix. My concern is that we've seen the project design and the fact that they're adding a third lane, a third turn lane to Highway 260 that will end at a street called Mud Springs Road. With all the traffic that we now have, they're going to be asking semis, buses, RVs to merge to 2 lanes at 50 miles an hour. So my comment is, I would like to have the project reviewed for the safety element of ending a third lane in an area where people are already speeding, and it's going to be a safety issue, it's going to be an accident issue, and I'd like to extend it down to Tyler Parkway. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your comments. We'll go to Ron Adjerami from Maricopa.
I accept your request.
Hi, this is Ron. Can everyone hear me?
We have you loud and clear, sir. You can begin.
Great. As always, thank you, ADOT Board, for the opportunity to speak about State Route 347. First, I'd like to recognize and thank the ADOT team that visited Maricopa this week to provide an update on the 347 project. Simply put, they were outstanding. I was genuinely impressed by both the depth of expertise and the number of team members ADOT sent to engage with our community. They were knowledgeable, professional, and well prepared. Just as important, they approached every question with a positive attitude and a genuine desire to help. When someone didn't have an immediate answer, they quickly connected us with a team member who did. That level of responsiveness and teamwork reflects extremely well on ADOT. Please extend our appreciation to everyone involved. They represented your organization extremely well. Second, I'm pleased to share that the 247 FACTS team was honored to receive the 2025 Arizona Transportation Partnering Excellence Award. This award recognizes partnership teams who demonstrate a high degree of achievement through the practice of partnering principles and display the application of partnering processes related to the transportation industry. This award will be presented during the 2026 ACEC Arizona Conference on Roads and Streets, Tuesday, September 24th at 2 p.m. in Tucson. We are looking forward to receiving this award. Our team is incredibly grateful for the opportunity to work alongside ADOT, the City of Maricopa, elected officials, and many other stakeholders to advance critical improvements along State Route 347. One of the highlights of this journey was seeing the project added to the ADOT 5-year plan in Payson last year, a milestone that demonstrated what can be accomplished when organizations and communities work together towards a common goal. We value the partnership we have built with ADOT and look forward to continuing our collaboration as we continue to work to improve safety and mobility for the tens of thousands of people who rely on State Route 347 every day. Thank you for your leadership, your partnership, and your continued commitment to the residents of the City of Maricopa and Pinal County. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and congratulations. Bob Barrett.
Mr. Barrett, I sent your request to unmute. Mr. Barrett, please use *6 to unmute. Or use the unmute button at the bottom of the application.
And Mr. Barrett, a reminder, if you're on your phone, it's *6 to unmute. And if you're on the WebEx application, you can toggle on the unmute button. All right, if you can continue to work with Mr. Barrett, if he does get unmuted in the next couple minutes, we can come back to him. Any chance you saw Senator Rogers join the call-in?
No, unfortunately, I've not seen Senator Rogers join, and I will continue to work with Mr. Barrett.
All right, thank you. At this time, then, I will go ahead and close the call to the audience. Let me know if you do get Mr. Barrett up, and we can reopen that for his comments as well. There's always the opportunity at next month's meeting. Next month's meeting is going to be in Chandler, and I just wanted to point out how we're in Nogales right now. And just a month ago, we were in Cameron, which is about as far north as maybe we've had a meeting held before. So one thing about this board, it is definitely going to get out and meet where the people are. So we appreciate it. It's actually, for anybody interested in getting on this board at some point, it's actually one of the true benefits of being on this board is you get to see a lot of Arizona that you may not see otherwise. That being said, I did want to mention, some of you may have known that we have a vacancy on our agenda. Mayor Hermosillo timed out from her position without receiving a hearing from the state legislature. And after a year, at that point, it means that you have to go back through the entire process. So disappointing from my position that those members that have been nominated through the process are not receiving their hearings in a timely manner. This is not a board that people necessarily are jumping up and down to come join. It's a great board, it's a great experience, but it's a lot of time and effort, and I think anybody willing to step in and do it should receive a hearing, and that's my belief on that matter. So we'll continue to move forward with that, and we've got seven members now, making up what we had for a couple meetings as an 8-member board, but we're back to 7 with a vacancy. Director, I first off wanted to congratulate you and the team on the shout out you received in the call of the audience today. 347 has been something I think the entire staff at ADOT has done an incredible job of working through this historically over the years, and the team you've got consolidated in place right now is obviously still making an impact in the community. So at this point, we'd like to move on to your director's report.
Chairman, I do believe I have Mr. Barrett available.
Perfect timing. I didn't know if I could fill enough space to get it done, so we got it. So I'll reopen the call to the audience, and Mr. Barrett, you are up. And Mr. Barrett, if you could check your microphone, we cannot hear you.
Yes, I am showing that his microphone is active, but we are not able to.
Are you there?
Mr. Barrett, we now have you loud and clear. You may begin your comments. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I did start it probably 15 times. So, I don't know. But anyway, my name is Bob Barrett. I'm calling from Lake Havasu City, Mojave County. I'd like to concentrate on 2 questions, if I may, as I speak today. How much is one human life worth? Second question, how much are 22 human lives worth? You folks are concentrating today on Santa Cruz County. I would like you to now concentrate on Mojave and La Paz counties and State Road 95 between Lake Havasu City south towards Parker. Has anyone ever driven this road? There's a news article in the Havasu News from 2024. The headline is, "Our View, Speak Up for Safety on State Route 95. I'm going to read you two sentences. This is from 2024. Since 2020, 16 lives have been lost in 11 crashes along this corridor, with 6 of those fatalities occurring in the past 9 months. These tragic numbers are a direct consequence of inaction. Since 2024, 3 more people died last year, 3 people died this week. That brings the total up to 22 people on a small stretch of rural highway that is extremely dangerous. I have 6 solutions I'd like you to consider. You need to add passing lanes. From Lake Havasu City north to I-40, not the section I'm talking about today, but for comparison, this is north from Lake Havasu City. There are 10 miles of passing lanes on 24 lane miles. 10 of 24 lane miles have passing lanes. From Lake Havasu City south towards Parker, there are 44 lane miles, but only 5 miles of passing lanes. You got people pulling boats. You got young people going 80 miles an hour. You have nowhere for these 2 people to live harmoniously on the road. Solution number, so you need to add passing lanes, please. Number 2, add slow vehicle turnouts. People do it all the time. Any national park has slow vehicle turnouts with inclines and declines and curves. There are none on this road. Add center line rumble strips. It is unconscionable why these were not included in the 2024 repaving project and why they were included in the highway north of Lake Havasu, but never installed. Center line rumble strips save lives. Number 4, more speed limit signs. There aren't very many, not that people necessarily view them, but people would be from out of town, would not necessarily know what the speed limit is. Number 5, more enforcement. ADOT, do you work with public safety to improve the safety of roads? State Patrol is rarely on that road. As someone today told me, quote, put some cops out to write tickets. That's one way. 6, dedicated turn lane. Speaking of the accident this week, I don't know the details, nobody does yet, but the pull-off into the BLM campground where this fatality happened has a 10-inch depression along its ingress. Any large vehicle pulling into that lot would slow down in their State Road 95 lane and take it slowly, causing a huge problem. Don't know whether that happened or not, but you should look at it. Number 7, finally, drivers are more distracted. They're speeding. They're more aggressive. I went down that road yesterday to try to get a picture for what that road was all about. I completely missed the 1 mile passing lane sign and the half mile passing lane signs. Make these blinking or beacon lights to show up better at night. Signs fade over time in the summer heat. This is an inexpensive partial solution. I encourage all of you to think about this road. 22 lives lost in 6 years. Unconscionable. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and I appreciate your patience in getting on. All right, so this time we will now call the audience. Director Toth, the board's yours.
Good morning. We're very happy to be here in Santa Cruz. I do have a few agency updates to share. First, I'd like to introduce our new Multimodal Planning Division Director, Justin Peak. He joined us last month from CDM Smith, where he served as the National Long Range Transportation Discipline Lead. Before that, he held various positions with private as well as public entities. He also served as ADOT's MPD Assistant Division Director from 2014 to 2016, and as the program manager between 2009 and 2014. So we're very excited to have him back. And he brings a lot of planning experience, and I'm really looking forward to the advances that he's going to make in leading the MPD team. So next, I'd like to share that we have had some very recent and productive interactions with the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management. We invited the department's director, Thomas Torres, to speak to our ADOT senior leadership this month. Director Torres, who also serves as the state forester, has shared a lot of great information with our teams so that we have a better understanding of what DFFM's goals and objectives are. We also talked about opportunities and strategies for wildfire mitigation with DFFM. Since we handle a lot of vegetation near highways and we manage the traffic in those areas, that the state is prone to wildfires, there's great opportunities for us to collaborate with DFFM. So I'm very hopeful and excited about the partnership that we've embarked upon and where this is heading for us as a state. Next slide, please. So next up, some good news to share. The 4th Street and Cedar Avenue Lockett Roundabout project received the Arizona chapter of the Arizona Associated General Contractors of America Build Arizona Award. And that project was a result of collaboration between ADOT, the City of Flagstaff, FAN Contracting, subcontractors, and lots of local utilities. So very excited about that award for the state. And as you heard earlier from Mr. Angarami, the winners of the 2025 Arizona Transportation Partnering Excellence Awards were recently announced. ADOT received 5 awards for roadway construction partnerships. I'm very excited. That's an annual competition, recognizes the partnering process and the achievements related to transportation. As you can see on this slide, these will be awarded in September. And really what makes these awards so special is they do recognize the projects that are examples of collaboration and partnership, and celebrating those is extremely important. We rely on that collaboration and partnership because we can't do it alone. Next slide, please. And I'll wrap things up with our safety message. Monsoon season is officially here. That means drivers should be prepared for dust storms, rain, and also for extreme heat. Every year we remind drivers that if you encounter a dust storm, don't drive into it, exit the highway as soon as you can, pull aside, stay alive, check your surroundings, make sure you put it in park and take your foot off of the brake so that people don't run into the back of you. Wear your seatbelt, wait out the dust storm, and just be safe out there, please. We want everyone to stay safe this season and help spread the message on pull aside, stay alive. And with that, I'll turn it over to Amy for our legislative report.
Thank you, Director Todd. Chairman, can you hear me?
Amy, we have you loud and clear, and before you start, I want to thank you for, on short notice, getting me the information about how the budget was going to impact the year going forward. So appreciate all the hard work you do, and the floor is yours.
You're very welcome, my pleasure. And I was impressed that you found that spreadsheet, so thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. This will be our final legislative update likely for this year until we reconvene in January. Next slide, please. We ended ultimately 152nd day open. They ended on a Saturday, so it was the right around 153 total days of session. With the budget that was introduced, there were identical bills in the House and Senate introduced, and so that brought the total number of bills that were introduced in the session up over 2,000. And I actually sent my slides in earlier this week, and as usual, there's already been some additional activities. So there have been 415 bills that were ultimately sent to the governor, but she has now signed 142 of them. We're still sitting at 63 bills vetoed, and ultimately there were 38 resolutions passed to the Secretary of State. Next slide, please. So where everything sort of ended, you may recall there was a bill moratorium for a while, a vetoed budget, and then negotiations began. The bill moratorium was lifted, and so ultimately a bipartisan negotiated budget was introduced on Tuesday, June 9th, so 10 days ago, and then passed by both chambers on Thursday, June 11th. They continued work well into Friday, which is not typical for the legislature. They're generally there Monday through Friday, or Thursday, and go home to their districts on Friday. But they stayed all day Friday and ultimately adjourned the morning of Saturday, June 13th at 4:45 a.m. So that ultimately means the general effective date for any legislation passed this session is September 12th of this year. There were a few bills introduced that had emergency clauses or delayed effective dates that will ultimately mean the bill takes effect either upon the governor's signature or later in the year, in some cases next year. But generally speaking, all bills will take effect on September 12th. Next slide, please. So with respect to the state budget impact that I wanted to bring to the board's attention, and the chairman alluded to this, there were no new funding for transportation or infrastructure projects. You may recall a lot of my slides during the session had so many bills with House and the House and Senate that had specific projects that ultimately would end up negotiated in the budget. So there were not any new funding projects. However, we also did not see any ex appropriation of existing or ongoing project funding. So there was some concern at one point about projects that had been considered for ex appropriation that did not happen this year. You may recall the vetoed budget was looking to sweep over $26 million from the SMART Fund. The governor had concerns with that because of the board's obligations and projects that have been before the board and approved. And so ultimately what they did with the SMART Fund is $6.7 million was transferred from the SMART Fund to the general fund. And this equates to the interest the fund has earned. But the budget also requires an annual $2.5 million investment in the SMART Fund. And those monies will be transferred from HERF to the SMART Fund. And my understanding is beginning July 1st of this year. Next slide, please. So there were a few bills that we were tracking that would have impacted the board. Ultimately, none of them were sent to the governor for various reasons. The bill related to public records failed to advance for a final vote. House Bill 2148, non-custodial federal monies appropriation, was ultimately held in Senate. And the HB 2601, Interstate 11 Environmental Engineering Study, failed in the Senate. There was a motion to bring it back for reconsideration, but ultimately that motion never brought to light. So because of the way they wrapped up, it was not brought back for consideration. So the bill ultimately failed. Next slide, please. And that is all I have for you this morning. It's a lot shorter, as I said, due to all of the removal of the appropriation bills that did not make it through. So, but I'm happy to take any questions you may have, Mr. Chair, and members of the board.
Okay, thank you, Amy. As always, we appreciate all the work and information. Any board members have any questions for Amy before we turn to the director?
Mr. Chairman.
Member Alters.
If I understood Amy's report correctly, I can't help but be extremely disappointed with the AZ SMART funding level for two reasons. One is it is being funded at far less than the proposed amount.
Can you get a little closer to your mic?
Thank you. Is this any better?
Yes.
It's being funded at far below the suggested or the expected amount, and second, it's being funded from HERF as opposed to the state treasury. And it, you know, the disappointment and the concern is primarily because those funds are leveraged to bring other federal dollars. So for every dollar that we spend from the Arizona Smart Fund, we stand to gain several folds from federal funding. And to that end, my suggestion would be that we, as of July of this year, establish a benchmark or a baseline as to, in July of 2026, what we had spent in the way of Arizona AZ Smart and what the federal dollars leveraged were, so we can point to that next year and hopefully next year and not the years after, to make the case that AZ Smart funding truly served a great purpose, and perhaps we can return to a funding level higher than what we're seeing this year. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Member Elters. And we do have a section today on AZ Smart. I think we can explore that a little bit more with Iqbal when he's talking about that, because I had a couple follow-ups, probably for him, not for Amy as well. Any other questions for Amy? Anybody have any questions for the director? Well, Director, you're getting off easy. It sounds good. All right, thank you for the report. We appreciate the update and the work of your team. There will be no district report this month. It was pointed out to me that we have 3 meetings in the South Central District this year. That's because the chair kind of gets to set the agenda, and we'll be back. But I told Jeremy he's going to have to give it again to us in December. I think we opened the year with the South Central. So Jeremy, I appreciate you bringing here, but no report today. We're going to go on to the consent agenda, but before we do that, Audra would like to explain a couple technical corrections to one of the agenda items, or maybe 2 of them. Audra, it's all yours.
Yes, thank you. So under the consent agenda today, we have 3 administrative items to bring to your attention, none of which change the recommendations for award amounts in today's agenda. This is purely administrative in nature, but for transparency, we wanted to bring this up before the consent agenda. There are 2 typos on the agenda, and there's 1 clarifying item. So if you please go to page 11 of your packet, which is item 3E, where it says dollars under estimate, that amount should be $408,113. It's just a typo error. The low bid amount is correct as shown. The department estimate amount is correct, and the percent difference is correct. It's really just a math error on our part, and my apologies. Item 3J, please go to page 16 of your packet, and please change the word from under to over. Again, this is a typo error. All the dollar figures are correct on that item. And if you go to page 114, this is number 3 on your packet. This one's just a clarifying item. And the page is showing actually 4 department estimates. This is correct. The project has 2 box culvert locations, and then there's 2 options at each location. So as a result, it created 4 department estimates, and we should have probably better explained that to you in your packet. All the contractors actually bid the same way, and so the department estimate that you see on page 14 reflects that. And so there's no corrections there. The information, I just wanted to let you know that all that information is correct as it's presented. Again, my apologies, and we'll definitely do better on that for next month. So I'd be happy to take any questions if you have them.
Anybody have any questions? No, I thank you, because that was going to be, you preempted the questions, because I think we had a couple, at least on the one that showed we were told under the bid by the entire amount of the project. I was going, great, somebody wants to do it for free.
Thank you.
So thank you, Audra, I appreciate it. All right, so does any member want to remove any item from the consent agenda? Okay, since I'm not hearing any removals, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice Chair Howard and a second by Member Bracker. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you, Mayor Giles. I'm glad to hear your voice on that one. And all those opposed? By saying no? Okay, motion carries, the consent agenda passes unanimously. We will now move on to the financial report with Elise Maza.
Maxwell, members of the board, and members of the community. My name is Elise Maza, and I'm going to be providing the financial report today. Jake Gable, he is on a well-deserved vacation with his family, so I'm filling in. Can you go to the next slide, please? So her purchase coming in at 1.67 billion are our actuals through May. This is 0.4% above forecast. So if you look at those red lines, we target our forecast to not exceed 2% above the actuals or 1% below. And we were pretty much spot on, so just it came in 1.79 higher. Our year-to-date actuals for HERF are 1.2% higher than this time last year, so about 19 million higher. So if we look at the next slide, which is our May data, HERF revenues were 142.6 million, which is 3.5% of this time last year of our May actuals, and 1.4 million, or 1% below forecast. As you can see though, HERF is trending almost precisely as forecasted. Next slide. On to our RARP, and remember the RARP is about 1 month behind. It is 1 month behind in its actuals through April. April revenue for RARP was 663.5 million. This is 1.5% above forecasting, which is $10 million. From compared to this time last year, we are 4% higher, 25.6 million more revenue from this time last year. So next, for our April data, April revenues were 72.5 million, which is 5.4% higher than 2025 April numbers, and the revenue was 2.1% above our estimate. Next. So as you can see, our HERF and RARP are essentially coming in as we have estimated. Everything's trending in the right direction. One thing we are watching very closely is the federal aid program. As I'm sure you all know, the current Authorization Act, Bill IIJA, is set to expire September 30th, 2026. We know that there has been what's called the Build America 250 Act that would pass the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, but is yet to make it to the House floor. So to be determined if we'll have a continuing resolution or a new Authorization Act in place. And then our last slide. This is our project obligations through April 30th, 2026. So far, we've obligated 57% of our project funding, which equates to 1.5 billion. With that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions.
All right, do we have any questions for Elise? I've got one for you. I know it's worked its way through the House committee, but if it does get to the House floor and passes, and I'm talking now the Build America 250 bill, if it gets through House floor, is that still required to go over to the Senate for final approval?
Has to be both House and Senate. So we'll see.
Okay, so
there's not a lot of time. I think there's support, right? I think there's bipartisan support, but I think what we're running on is time.
So based on that, do you have any insight or updates on what the likelihood of a continuation resolution might look like for the transportation infrastructure? And I see the director reaching for the mic.
Yeah, I'll let the director speak to that. She's got I do not know. I do not have a crystal ball about Congress, but.
Okay, well, thank you, Elise. Unless there's going to be other questions, we appreciate all your feedback. And Director, what are you hearing?
Mr. Chairman, I agree with Elise. It's hard to see a crystal ball, but we have, I think it's been since T21, or even before that, that we have had a reauthorization approved in the timely fashion, and they rely on the continuing resolutions as a way to continue. So I don't see that changing in the foreseeable future, but you never know.
Right. I think that's the important thing for many people to understand is the Highway Trust Fund will become insolvent in 2028. If it's just the continuing resolution, at some point there may need to be a congressional input to that too. But that's not till 2028. We'll worry about that when we get there. So I appreciate again. Thank you for the financial brief. Anybody else have any questions? Member Elders.
Usually we look forward to the new reauthorization and we frown on the continuing resolution. In this case, understanding where the current reauthorization level is and what we're hearing rumored about the new reauthorization, it may be a good idea to get the continuing resolution because it may be at a higher level than what we may get. So it may not be a bad thing in this case.
Thank you, Member Elders. Any other board member, any comments or questions? All right, seeing none, we will now move on to perhaps the big issue for today's meeting, and that is the final approval of the fiscal year 2027-2031 ADOT 5-year Transportation Facilities Construction Program. And Iqbal Hussain, the floor is yours for the next couple.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and the members of the board. For record, my name is Iqbal Hussain with ADOT Planning Division.
Does it work good? You good?
So today I'll be presenting the recommended 2027 to 2031 5-year Transportation Facilities Construction Program. So I'll begin with a quick overview of the regional allocation amounts and the total funding available for the 2027 to 2031 5-year program. As a reminder, regional allocation funding is distributed using the established formula of 50% of the funding goes to Greater Arizona, 37% to the Maricopa Association of Government, MAG region, and the remaining 13% goes to the Pima Association of Government, PAG region. For the 2027 to 2031 program period, a total of $6.7 billion is available across these three regions.
You go right to ask them to approve it. That was a good strategy.
So next I will begin with a quick overview of the regional allocation amounts and the total funding available for the 2027 to 31 program. As a reminder, the regional allocation funding is distributed using the established on this. There are a couple of programming considerations that I would like to go over. The first is both state and the federal government requirements require the program to remain fiscally constrained. Second, project budgets are reviewed every year and adjusted as needed. Those adjustments can be driven by factors such as inflation, year of expenditure cost, change in pavement or bridge condition, or new information identified during the project development process. Another important consideration is the project readiness. We look at the factors such as the constructability, schedule, then opportunity to bundle projects together to maximize the value of the available funding we have. And finally, we also look at the risk-based approach when we prioritize the projects. In simple terms, that means focusing on projects where delaying the improvement could create safety concern, mobility issues, or higher future cost. Now let's talk about the regional funding and the respective projects, beginning Greater Arizona section. As previously mentioned, Greater Arizona receives 50% of the available funding, totaling $4.1 billion for the 2027 to 2031 program cycle. These funds are primarily programmed by the board and dedicated to the 13 counties outside of Maricopa and Pima counties. One important point to note here is that although the Greater Arizona section is dedicated to those counties outside Maricopa and Pima counties, these two counties can compete for competitive funding and have projects funded by this section. Just an example would be our Highway Safety Improvement Program and Transportation Alternative Program. Next several slides will provide a summary of the funding and the projects in each board district. Starting with District 1, there are 24 projects in District 1 for a total of $134 million with 4 preservation and 20 modernization projects. This set of projects include those projects that secured HSIP funding through the competitive program, the process, and those scored higher in the P2P process. For the expansion project for the District 1 are included in the MAX section of the program, and which I'll be discussing shortly. Then we'll move on to District 2. There are 27 total projects programmed for $35.3 million with 1 preservation project and 26 modernization projects. Similar to the MAC section, expansion projects for District 2 are shown in the PAC section of the program, which I'll be discussing shortly as well. Moving on to District 3, there are total 25 total projects there programmed for the amount of $215 million. These include 14 preservation projects, 10 modernization, and 1 expansion project. Next is District 4. There are 12 projects programmed for a total of $134.6 million with 6 preservation, 4 modernization, and 2 expansion projects. In District 5, there are 56 projects programmed for a total of $603 million with 28 preservation projects, 26 modernization projects, and 2 expansion projects. In District 6, there are 86 projects programmed for a total of $738 million, with 16 preservation, 64 modernization, and 6 expansion projects. And finally, the newest district, District 7. This district is in the area of Pinal County that has recently received its designation as a board district. District 7 has been separated from its previous district, District 4. There are a total of 14 projects programmed for $65.1 million, with 6 preservation and 8 modernization projects. Next, I'll move on to the Maricopa County section of the program. Maricopa County receives 37% of the available funding, which is programmed primarily by MAC. And over the 2027 to 31 program period, that amounts to $2.04 billion for projects on ADOT routes within Maricopa County. So in this map, several major construction projects are shown within the MAG region that are included in the program. Most notably, 4 construction projects are programmed for the new State Route 30 corridor in western Maricopa County. As you can see, there are, in fiscal year 2027, construction is scheduled to begin on the segment between 97th Avenue and Loop 202. Additional SR30 segments, including Dysart Road to 97th Avenue and Estrella Parkway to Dysart Road. These are programmed for construction between the fiscal year 2027 and 2031. Finally, also included in the program is the widening of US 60 from Ellsworth Road to Meridian Road, which with the construction schedule to begin in fiscal year 2030. Now is the Pima County section. Pima County receives 13% of the available funding, which is programmed primarily by PAC. Over the 5-year period, about $615 million is available for projects on ADOT routes within Pima County. With the recent passage of RTA Next, PAC is currently updating the cost estimates and the project schedule, as Greg mentioned. As a result, we anticipate there may be significant changes as PAC works through this allocation of these funds, and ADOT is coordinating with PAC throughout this whole process. And we expect PAC to provide more definitive numbers in the schedule and more funding information later this summer for inclusion in the statewide transportation improvement program, which is the STIP. Let me highlight a few of the notable construction projects currently programmed in the PAC region. To begin with, in fiscal year 2027, we have the completion of the Country Club Road and Kino Parkway traffic interchange along I-10. And in 2028, construction is programmed on I-10 between Alvernon Way and Valencia Road, along with the ramp reconstruction at the Park Avenue interchange. In 2029, we program the remaining phase of Alvernon Way to Valencia Road project, as well as the improvements at 6th Avenue interchange on I-10. 6th Avenue interchange on I-10. With that, I will shift the gears from highways to aviation. next two slides highlight the Airport Capital Improvement Program. Before we move on to the airport program, I would like to share an outstanding achievement, which is we are proud to share that the Grand Canyon National Airport has been named ADAR's 2026 Airport of the Year. So congratulations to the airport team on this achievement. Let's move on to the airport program now. Over the next 5 years, $186 million will be invested under 5 key programs. These programs will support critical improvements at 67 airports across Arizona. So here is a summary of the airport program over the 5-year period. These programs are so critical to the airport sponsor that without them, as you know, many important airport projects would be difficult to fund. So these programs make a real difference. A little bit on the 5 programs. In many cases, the programs provide the local match required for FAA grants, federal grants, up to 90% of the major project preservation projects. And this program also supports a wide range of improvements, including planning, design, construction, safety, and the land acquisition. Perhaps the most impressive part of this program is its ability to leverage federal funding. Now, we recently, out of curiosity, I recently looked at the impact of some of the investments, and the results were remarkable. As one example, I would like to share with you the FSL program, the federal, state, local program. Every one state dollar we use that leverages approximately $20 in federal funding. So just put that in perspective, in fiscal year 2027, we are investing close to $8 million in state match funds, so the FSL program, and that investment is expected to leverage more than $156 million federal funds. So I just wanted to share this remarkable return on investment with you. So that concludes my presentation on the program. With that, here is our requested action. Approval of the 2027 to 31 5-year Transportation Facilities Construction Program as presented. And at this time, I will be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
If you could go back to the other slide, that may help when there's a motion coming forward. Does anybody have any questions for Iqbal regarding the 5-year plan?
I have a comment, if I could. Thank you, Chair.
Vice Chair.
Iqbal, during our work session, there was a slide that showed 3 projects that were being deleted from the tentative plan. And if I'm recollecting this right, 2 of them were because there was a 347 widening project and then the Olga Frontage Road, and I'm thinking they were combined with other projects. That's why they were being removed. But there's one project on US 60, which is a passing decel lane between mileposts 243 and 255 for $7.8 million. And I believe that was removed because of funding issues. And so I'm hoping, because it has been removed, I'm hoping to see that come back during the plan through the PPAC process. I hope we keep that on the forefront. There were 278 comments regarding safety on the US 60, and then we pulled a project that has to do with a lot with safety and passing, and so I'm hoping that will be brought back at some point. So I appreciate that.
Thank you for the comments.
Member Alters. Your light went green. I thought I was getting out ahead. I guess you're ready to make the motion. My line wasn't green, no. Any other board members have any questions or comments regarding the 5-year plan? If not, could I get a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of the final 2027-2031 Arizona Department of Transportation 5-year facilities construction program as presented.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by member Alters, a second by member Brackers. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, and I heard the online vote. All those opposed, by nay. All right, we have a unanimously approved 2027-2031 ADOT 5-year transportation plan. And for many of you who are involved in this, you know the 2028-2032 5-year plan process has already begun prior, so there's still a lot of opportunities. One thing I do want to say about the plan, because I've been questioned about it a lot, is that you see it dip, in 2029 in that area, the funds going down, everybody panics. But one of the things to remember is we don't have any authorization for any federal funds in there, so those funds are not included in those out years. And as we see what happens with that, those should come back to a more consistent level. But we're hoping that we'll at some point get some additional funds included in this plans, because we routinely hear every month at these meetings how important and how necessary continued road maintenance and improvements are. So thank you for that, and
Mr. Maxwell.
we'll get moving on the next one.
Chair Maxwell. Actually,
Member Bracker.
I just wanted to support Ms. Howard Board Member Howard on the passing lane. When you get into the rural areas, when you talk about these things, and it's 7 million here, these are big for the big communities, PAG, MAG, and now PNOW. These aren't really big issues. For the rural communities, these passing lanes, these improvements on the highways, it's life or death for them, and it's really important. And so moving forward into the next project and to the next 5-year plan, I hope to be a part of it, but I would really like to see that back on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the comment.
All right, any other board member comments before we move on? All right, thank you, Iqbal. We will now stay with you as we move into the Multimodal Planning Division report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and the members of the board for approving the 5-year program. I'll now move on to item 6, which is the tribal transportation updates. And today I'll provide a brief update on several tribal transportation activities underway across the state, including State Route 587 road safety assessment in Gila River Indian community. Recent activities of the Inter-Tribal Council of Arizona Transportation Working Group, and an update on ADOT's tribal government consultation policy. So I'll start with SR 587 road safety assessment. ADOT continues to work with the Gila River Indian community on a road safety assessment along 587 between mileposts 219 and 225 that I shared with you 2 months ago. So over the past several weeks, the team completed the kickoff meetings, reviewed the existing safety data, and met with the school officials and conducted field reviews. The purpose of this road safety assessment is to identify the opportunities to improve safety in that section, in that segment. And we are currently moving towards the completion of the draft report in July, and the final report will be completed in August. the transportation working group has been a really effective way for us to stay connected with our tribal partners. And we held our most recent meeting on May 21st with 35 participants representing 11 tribes and 7 agencies. If you recall, this is a significant improvement in the tribal engagement area, and this is basically a result of ADOR's continuous outreach and collaboration efforts with our tribal partners. So the meeting we had on May 21st, in that meeting we discussed a number of topics, including transportation safety, bicycle and active transportation programs, and other outreach activities. Then I wanted to share with you that we are currently updating our tribal government conservation policy. The update has 3 primary goals. First is strengthening and clarifying the consultation process, how we consult with the tribe. Number 2, to identify any additional situation where tribal conservation may be appropriate that we have not been doing now. And third is to provide the clearer guidance to ADOR staff on when and how the consultation should occur. So in the next several months, we'll conduct information sessions and offer one-on-one consultation with the tribes. Once that process is complete and all the feedbacks have been incorporated, the policy will move through the review process. And of course, after all the comments are addressed and everything is, the review process has been done, the final policy will be submitted to the director for approval. So, Mr. Chairs and the members of the board, those are the tribal transportation update I have today. I'll be happy to answer any question you may have.
Any board members have any questions? All right, well, you can continue to move on through. I think that's everything in item 6. So if you want to move on to item 7, the Arizona State Match Advantage for Rural Transportation Smart Fund.
And then I will move on to item number 7, AZ Smart Funds Program. There are no AZ Smart applications today to the board to present, but I wanted to let you know that the financial data we have here shown on the slide is through May. Since then, the 2027 state budget has been finalized. As Andy mentioned, those budget action will affect the AZ Smart program's financial spending, including the amount currently available for award in the highlighted view. So we are now updating the financial to reflect those changes. And at the July board meeting, we plan to present the updated financial reports and request the board for approval for the July fund redistribution funds. That concludes my update on the financial report for AZ Smart Fund.
So Iqbal, just as I look at this right now, we've got 13,000 still, or 13 million, sorry, still available for award. We know 6.5 million is going to be swept by the legislature. But the disconnect to me is after approval of the current pending requests, where we only have 55.8 million available. At the very bottom, the bottom line. So either we aren't going to be able to, if some of those don't come through, obviously we know they all don't always come to fruition. But what's the concern, or is there a concern in the short term? And when does the 2.5 million from HERF get transferred over, or will we be pretty much without any funds to issue for at least several months?
At this point, we are still working on with finance to get the number. Like, will be deducted 6.7 million from here, and 2.5 million will be added. So at that point, probably we know the bottom line. So that's why in July we'll be able to give you the whole number. the final number, this with the interest, then probably is a good time to redistribute the funds. Then we'll have more information.
Okay. I guess the point being is it's not looking really good. The 6.5 million is a huge sweep off interest. We've already had that calculated into our expected flow. And the 2.5 million, which we appreciate, I think Member Bracker's already pointed Member Elder's already pointed it's coming out of her fund, so it's really not a increase of funding, which SMART had always been. And depending when that 2.5 comes in, we're going to be tight for at a minimum next year, and there's not a lot of money going forward, especially when it does, much like the airport funding, leverages so much federal dollars to come to a region. It's generally about a 5% match on some of the grants and projects. So, any member others?
Thank you. Building on your thoughts and questions, and looking at the numbers for municipalities greater than 10K, which is the third column, and looking at the line after approval of pending requests, which sits today at minus 2.7 million roughly. If indeed the total amount to be distributed is less than 10 million, which looks like it will be, what would that mean to the municipalities greater than 10K, because they're in the hole by a dollar amount that is not likely to be overdone with the redistribution, knowing that, or assuming that it would be less than 10 million divided into 5 buckets when we include 4 municipalities and ADOT. So how do we have any idea how we're going to reconcile or address that, or does that mean that municipalities greater than 10,000 people will have nothing in their bucket? Is that what we're anticipating?
I guess that's the third reality at this time. I would say we did not think about any other plan at this time.
Okay. Well, Mr. Chairman, I don't know if there is. The question is not intended to put staff on the spot, but really to point out that municipalities that have a population of greater than 10,000 that have been big users of this program may not have anything in their bucket, and that would be really a terrible disservice. Thank you.
Chairman Maxwell.
Member Bracker.
Is the state legislature the only body that can move money into this fund?
Chairman, Member Bracker, board members, that's a very good question, and we will have to look at that, but I believe that's probably the reality.
So the board could not say, we feel that this is an important component and move?
No.
Thank you.
I should say.
And just to add to some of the conversation going forward, obviously there's I believe it was 28 projects that were being proposed predominantly by rural and not Maricopa or not Pima County legislators for projects, stuff that these kind of funds can support. And obviously the legislature didn't approve any of those funds because there were none available. So I think it's something that there's opportunity in the legislature after the election's over for going to next session to really, I think we should probably put together some data on how much not only have these funds helped the rural communities that they were intended to help, but also how much external dollars it leveraged as well. Sometimes, when you're looking at balancing a budget and doing a lot of other things, sometimes you can lose. You don't see the gains from programs like this. And this was a program that came out of the legislature. I mean, it was one, let's give them credit, that it was their idea. And it's been something that we've seen as a board have a dramatic impact on places, on communities throughout Arizona. And so I think it's sometimes, maybe we need to have some conversations letting them know that it was a great idea. You were brilliant in your ways, and now we're missing opportunities.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'll be happy to do that. We'll make that information available to you.
Especially if we do get to the point, Director, where we find out when the funding is figured out, we come through and we go, basically, it's now at least for the following year, it's nothing. I think it's a good opportunity to highlight it because the program will still exist. It just will be unfunded. It'll be a great opportunity to highlight how much in the years where it did receive its funding, the impact it's made. And that way, during the next session, it may be something that the communities, the rural communities and the outreach from the counties, not named Pima and Maricopa, can help carry and get some things done. So, thank you. Not always a good, not everything we get to hear is great to hear, but it's important to discuss it. Thank you for that presentation. Got one more question from Vice Chair. Well, anybody can ask another question. Vice Chair, it's yours.
Can you refresh my memory on the redistribution? It's a flat redistribution and we have no authority to change that, correct?
That is correct.
That's correct.
We can't fund it, we can't redistribute it. It's a great
We're here to oversee. All right, we'll move on. Iqbal, you're still up. You're not released yet for the Priority Planning and Advisory, the PPAC report. And not only the report, but for action.
Yes. Thank you. And as Chairman Maxwell mentioned it, I'll move on to item number 8, Priority Planning Advisory Committee items for discussion and possible action. Today we have 3 categories of projects to present. These are project modifications, new projects, and airport project. As usual, I plan to group these 3 categories under one motion for board's approval. So I would like to present the proposed changes to the FY 2026 through to FY 2030 State Transportation Facilities Construction Program, items A and B for under project modifications, and items 8C through 8I, new projects. And the final and the only item under airport is 8J. So for the board's consideration, the requested action is approval of the Priority Planning Advisory Committee items 8A through 8J.
All right, does anybody have any questions first? I do have one for those of us whose memories are short. The TA program for fiscal year 26, what is the TA program?
The Transportation Alternative Program.
Okay. All right, any other further questions? Okay, can I get a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve items 8A through 8J as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Vice Chair Howard and a second by Member Peshakai. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, hearing none. The motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Iqbal. As always, your time in front of the boards.
Thank you so much.
Always fun. All right, well, now we'll move on to item 9, the State Engineers Report with Audra Merrick.
So good morning, members of the board. I get the fun part of the report today, which is to tell you about all the great things we've done in the districts. And the picture on the lower right-hand corner of your screen is a picture from the Southeast District. And it's the US 60 Queen Creek Bridge project. They're doing some drilled shaft construction in that photo. Moving forward, I plan to have a friendly competition amongst the districts for a fun picture of you for you every month, just to kind of spruce up these reports. The status of projects under construction report for May of 2026 shows 115 projects under construction, valued at $2.9 million. Roughly about 2/3 of those projects are state and about 1/3 is local at the moment. The department finalized 4 projects in May, totaling $5.6 million. And then fiscal year to date, we have 80 projects that we finalized. And next I'll highlight a few projects from around the district. My slides go, there we go. So first up in the Northwest District, we have the I-40 Holy Moses Wash to Rattlesnake Wash project. This is a pavement rehab project. We're busy milling and filling up there in that area. We expect to have the project complete in the next month or two. The I-40 US 93 West Kingman project is 73% complete. The I-40 US 93 to Silver Springs Road, that is a pavement preservation project or rehab project. The project just recently started and they're working on bridge deck joint replacements, epoxy overlays, and some guardrail work. We have the Wash Bridge at Walnut Canyon, sorry, my mind is up in Flagstaff. Wash Bridge at Walnut Grove Road is a Yavapai County off-system bridge project. This is a bridge replacement project, and we expect it to be complete late summer, early fall. And then we have the State Route 69, Lee Boulevard to east of Walker Road. And that's a microseal surfacing work that's continuing today, and the project's anticipated to complete here soon. And then lastly, we have the I-17 Sunset Point to State Route 69. And that's one I've been driving a lot recently, so really looking forward to do. And that is a pavement rehab project. They just started, and the work expected to be complete later this fall. Up in the North Central District, we have the State Route 260 Lion Springs Road project. This project was just started, and they're busy with doing some preliminary surveying type work now. We'll have some link road closures starting next week. The US 160 Tuba City East project is working on the guardrail, pipe extensions, some turnouts, and the main line paving started just last week on that project. Next we have the I-17 Willow Springs Wildlife Overpass project, and that bridge work should be complete later this summer. The fence work we're expecting to be complete later that fall. We're probably going to be working on a time extension for that. We've encountered some tough heart or rock issues and those types of things with those fence. And then on the I-40 Two Guns Denison project, we're busy paving and doing some guardrail reconstruction. State Route 64, I-40 to Pipeline is a pavement preservation project. They're busy with the drainage work along with the night paving. And we're looking at a summer 2027 completion for that project. Lastly, we have the I-40 broadband project from California State Line to the 1740 System Interchange in Flagstaff. And that was nearing completion. The fiber installation is complete, and they're working on getting power to some of the nodes. And so we'll be working on closing out that project.
And on before you switch,
yeah.
So the Lion Spring section that's begun there, will that take 260 to 4 lanes every way? Is that the final piece of that project?
Correct. That's what that one is.
That was the big discussion we
That's
had a year ago, so I
that's
just wanted to
been
bring
long in
that
the
one up
works.
as a reminder. It was a great example of outreach for a community to get something done. So glad to see that one started. Thank you.
Thank you for adding that. And then up in the Northeast District, we have the US 60 State Route 61 to Wildcat Creek project. And that's another pavement rehab project. The contractor just resumed work June 2nd to finish up the chip seal on that project, and then we'll do some final striping. The district right now is working on some time issues with that project. You can see it on the slide, it's at 131%. They are processing a change order, which will help remedy that. It has to do with millings and some shoulder buildup, rework, and those types of items with that change order. On the I-40 Perkins traffic interchange project, the new girders have been set and the bridge deck widening scheduled to be poured in late June. The State Route 77 Little Colorado Bridge project is a deck rehab project. The deck work is complete on that project, and they're working on the epoxy overlay, which is scheduled for this week. The State Route 377 Milepost 8 to Phoenix Park Wash is a shoulder widening project. The contractor is working on the subgrade now and the pipe extensions on that project. The US 180 24th Street West to US 191 is another pavement rehab project with some ADA improvements, and that project is 11% complete. And then we have the contract time has just started. I think we're like 2 days into it on the US 80 project there at the bottom. And then going over into Southwest, we have 4 projects. We have the statewide road weather information system ARVIS project. We're upgrading and adding some new ARVISes up there. And the estimated completion of that is this fall. The work consists of constructing roundabouts and performing pavement preservation on the US 95 Imperial Dam Road Aberdeen project. The contractor is busy installing fencing and finishing subgrade work, and we're looking at a summer 2027 probably completion for that one. And then we have the I-8 Port of Entry sign replacement project. The team is finishing up the punch list work now, and so we'll look at working on the closeout paperwork for that one. And then we have Cesar Chavez Boulevard, which is a roadway widening project. It's a local project. It's about $57 million roughly. The contractor is busy working on curb and gutter, subgrade work, installing storm drains, pipes, those types of things, and we're looking at a spring 2028 completion for that one. As you can see, we're only 11% complete. That's another one that community is really, really waiting for. So, and then moving on to South Central District, which is where we are today. As you heard, Jeremy is going to be given a district report later on this month. So I've been asked just to highlight a few of the projects key to this area in Nogales, which is kind of what we did similar last month up there in Cameron. So I'm going to jump right down to the Western Avenue traffic interchange. And this project is rehabbing bridge decks, roadway pavement, and slope paving. It also includes removing and replacing guardrails, some pavement striping. It's a $4 million project. It's 40% complete, and it's expected to be complete later this summer. And then we have the State Route 289 Peña Blanca Lake project. It's an 11-mile pavement rehab project, also long awaited. The chip seal work and final striping are remaining. It's expected to be complete this summer. So that's the summer of 2026 here just shortly.
And Otter, if I could stay on that slide just for a second, because I'd just like to highlight one thing, one of the projects up there, and it's compliments both to the ADOT team down in South Central and the process and the contractors that are working on it, and that's that Keno Country Club. That's, if you drive through that area at all, you'd understand how the potential for the log jams and the backups could be just incredible. But they're not. They're doing a great job of making sure that the traffic's flowing through there, and it's been done safely. We haven't had a huge uptick of any accidents, and Arizonans are not good at zipper merging, I can just tell you that, but they seem to be doing it well there. But what I want to point out, and Jeremy, you can correct me if I misspeak on any of this here, is that you see it's not listed as a contractor, it's design builder. So design builds is one of the techniques I think we, moving forward, need to really consider when it's appropriate and when it's work, because look, the total number of completes 51% and 31% of the time. there's a lot of motivation for it to be built because they're doing both phases of the project. You can get it moving along faster. So that is running ahead of schedule right now, and it's really being done in an efficient manner, and it's a significant, big project. I believe board member, former ADOT board or state board member Richard Cyril said he wasn't sure we've ever approved a budget for one single project that was as big as that one, and to see it coming along in that time frame, just kudos both to Jeremy and to the teams working on that, and ADOT as a whole. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you to Jeremy and the district working with the contractor on that I-10 corridor in general, and our partners at DPS as well, as we continue to try to get traffic through that area and keep that mobility going. So.
Member Elders.
Thank you. Andra, you highlighted a project earlier where time and completions were vast apart. There are two projects in this district where the time span is far ahead of the completion. Is that a sign of a project in trouble, or there are some issues that can be easily understood and explained that is causing that for the two projects toward the bottom, Western TI that you spoke to, and Vineyard Lake?
I don't have the specifics on those. I can certainly get it. Sometimes it's a matter of, yes, when we see these numbers, we look, right? Kind of what you said, that does address the concern. A lot of times the districts have change orders or in the work or in the processing, it takes time where they know there's going to be a time extension, and sometimes you'll see that reflected in there. And so I don't know if Jeremy can expand maybe upon those two specifically, if there's any change orders in the work as far as the time part goes. Be more than happy to.
Sure, Mr. Chair, members of the board. So when we look at the Einat or Ruthroff, there were some challenges with like the drill shafts and the MSE walls and the setting the girders over the railroad. And so the team kind of worked together and we kind of got through those challenges. So there will be a time extension coming. just time. There's no money, no compensatory time. It's just time extension. And then when you get down to the Pena Blanca Lake, there was some challenges with the material. There was some drainage issues out there. And so we had to move forward and kind of.
Somebody please hit OK so we don't power off the slide presentation, please.
No, it's LVIT.
The one back here behind you is working.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking at me going, what are you talking about? It looks like the TV in the back's about, the one we're looking at.
I think you're losing the TV is what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Not the WebEx or the presentation.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, knowing that, sorry, Jeremy, you can continue. We'll let people work on
And
it.
then with Pena Blanca, because it also is a chip seal, we have to make sure that we hit that window to make sure we get the right cure on the material. So we were going to work through all that. It's not that we're in damage or in any kind of issues. It's just we got to do the damage.
And I guess that's the great point is the big thing we'd be concerned about is if it's cost overruns. And obviously that's something you manage internally inside of ADOT. But when you look up there and you see one already 84%, only 40% complete, I could understand why Member Alters is just curious. But and that's one of the reasons we like to get the district reports when we come to the districts, because it kind of highlights the things that are going good and bad. And obviously all the board members up here would love to know about the projects in their district that may be getting challenged. But great explanation to those. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Eldridge, for the comment. So kind of along these same lines in the South Central District, just a quick success. I wanted to mention the South Central District. The I-19 Nogales Port of Entry to the I-10 project is complete, and it was an ITS project. It installed some wrong way detection and some DMSs, which are our big old message boards you see on the side of the road. It was a $6.2 million project, and it started in the spring of last year, so the community is happy to see that completed. And then we also have a corridor study going on in this district on I-19 looking at the performance areas of pavement, bridge, mobility, safety, and freight, like we do in other areas of the state, other sections of roadways. And the recommended strategic improvements will come from that, and then you'll see that feed into projects and the P2P and all that process. And that report is scheduled to be complete in January 2027, and just because we were in Nogales, we just wanted to mention that that process is taking place, that study. Over in the Southeast District, we have the Cochise Railroad Overpass Project, which is a bridge replacement project. It's estimated for March 2028 completion. The I-10, southbound I-10 to 356 is a pavement rehab project. And the paving work is ongoing and estimated completion in March of 2027. And then another pavement rehab project on US 60 is the Santee Street to US 70, where the paving work is finishing up and they are working on some utility adjustments now. And then work on the Pier 1 drilled shafts is taking place on the US 60 Queen Creek Bridge Replacement Project. That's that's that photo that I had at the beginning. Upcoming work on Medicine Way is microseal seeding and final striping, and it's estimated for completion probably over the next month or two in that project. Also, I'd like to mention for the Southeast District, the US 70 Cottonwood Wash to Ray Lane project, which is a pavement rehab project, and this was one of those projects that you had referenced earlier that got moved out. We accepted the 5-year plan last year, and that project is advertising now, and its bid opening date is July 24th. So you'll be seeing that soon. So that was one of those projects. And then up in the Central District, we have the 303 I-17 new system ramps and widening, which is moving along smoothly. The 101 widening from 17 to 75th Avenue is running slightly ahead of schedule, and that one's on budget. The I-10 Gila River Bridge project is expected to be on time and budget at 91% complete. And the anticipated completion for that is fall of this year. We're looking maybe at October, so it's coming.
Good.
The I-10 101 project has just started, and the 202 project, Bella Vista to the 101, is running on time and budget, and that one is 73% complete. And then we have MC 85 to Van Buren has just started, and the contractor is mobilizing, and we're looking at like a 2030 completion date for that. So Chair Maxwell, if I don't have any questions, I can go on to item 10.
Any questions? We've kind of thrown questions in throughout the briefing, but. Mr. Giles, you have anything of concern?
No, thanks for asking. All well.
All right, glad to have you there. All right, we can move on to item 10.
You're going to be seeing these slides kind of change over the next month or two, too. We're trying to rearrange things and change colors and lighten it up a little bit instead of seeing the same slides every month. So this is item number 10, like you had mentioned. It's the new construction contracts. This slide shows all 10 projects recommended for award this month. The top 6 projects are on consent agenda, 3E through 3J, which you have already approved, so thank you for that. The bottom 4, 10A through 10B, are the new construction projects. If you sum all these projects up at the end of for this month, it is 4.9% under the department estimate, and I'll point that out on an upcoming slide. We just didn't have an extra line on the slide to show it to you here. So here are those monthly totals that we show you every month. These will be on 2 slides. And this shows the July 25 to December 25 totals. And then this slide shows the January 26 to June of 26 totals. As previously mentioned, you can take note in June there is the 4.9% under the department estimate, which is what I had mentioned previously. And on the bottom of the slide, fiscal year to date, we are running 11.1% under the department estimate. So with that, Mr. Chair, we do have 4 projects for consideration right now. 2 are over, 2 are under the department estimate. I'd be more than happy to proceed forward whichever way. You want to do all of them or just do the negative ones?
We'll take them all as a single motion, but if you could run through them really quickly,
Okay.
just since there's only 4.
Okay. So first we'll start with item 10A. And 10A is a 6.7-mile pavement rehab project located in Santa Cruz County on State Route 82 from Patagonia Lake to Patagonia Lake Road. Sorry, to Patagonia. Tongue twister. We have a low bid of $2,792,268 under the state estimate of $871,447 or 23.8% difference. And in reviewing the low bid and discussing with the contractor, he was able to offer really higher competitive production rates than what the department assumed, and the department was able to really benefit from that competitive process. There were 3 bidders, all were under the department estimate. And so after review and analysis of the low bid, the bid was determined to be responsive and the bidder responsible, and we recommend that award to Sunland Asphalt and Construction LLC. Oops, sorry, my slides are sticking here. Going back to 10B. So 10B, this is a system enhancement project on Interstate 40, starting at the 1740 interchange in Flagstaff, heading east to Country Club Drive. The project installs a new dynamic message stop sign, or what we call a DMS, on westbound I-40 at Country Club. It includes some fiber optic cable installation along with some other related work. We have a low bid of $2,359,486 over the state estimate by 31.5% or $564,746. There were 3 bids for this project. All 3 were over the department estimate, ranging from 31.5% over, which was the low bid, to 38.8% over. So looking at the bid and then speaking with the contractor, it was identified the contractor is sourcing his labor and equipment based out of Tucson. They therefore had some additional costs to distance traveled and per diem and labor and those types of things. There's also some smaller quantities on this project, more specifically the AV and AC, because there's a maintenance pad that's required at the DMS, so it's a combination of those items. After review and analysis of the low bid, the bid was determined to be responsive and the bidder is responsible, and so we recommend that award to Granite Construction Company, Inc. Sorry, my slides are making people dizzy today.
Basketball.
Oh,
You got it.
I think we have it.
You
unless
got
it
it.
moves on me. Okay. So item 10C, sorry about that malfunction. This project is located in Yavapai County, northwest of Wickenburg on US 93, milepost 175 to 176. It's a passing lane construction project. We have a low bid of $5,729,500. It's over the department estimate by $917,742 for a difference of 19.1%. There were 3 bids on this project as well. All 3 bids were over the department estimate, ranging from 19.1%, the low bidder, to 39.6%, the high bidder. For this project, the contractor received one of their quotes higher than what the department estimate had assumed based on the historical data. Sometimes that happens when we looked at that quote. They did assume some more shifts needed for removal and installation of that item. And also the contractor offered lower production rates than what the department had assumed for earthwork and for paving due to some limited areas working behind some temporary barrier and then the traffic associated. Again, this is a passing lane project. And then lastly, the contractor's SMA, which is stone matrix asphalt costs, were higher than the department. The supplier they were using is 63 miles away. This is still a new item for the department that we're using, and so we're developing that historical data. The department did not consider the remoteness and availability of the subcontractor to do that SMA work, so that was a factor as well. So after review and analysis of the low bid, the bid was determined to be responsive and bidder responsible. We recommend the award to Vant Contracting, Inc. Wow, hold on a second. Went way too many. If I can get on to 10D. There we go. Hopefully it doesn't move on me. So item 10D, this project is located in Yuma County within the city of Somerton at the intersection of County 15th Street and Avenue D. The work includes installation of new flashing advanced warning signs and LED signs. Also grading and installing new driveway or driveways, signing and pavement markings. We have a low bid of $356,467. It's under the state estimate by 31.4% or $162,967. There were 3 bidders for this project. 2 bidders were lower. The third was just higher than the department estimate. For this one, the contractor was able to offer more competitive material costs and better production rates than what we had assumed in the department estimate. So after review and analysis of the bid was determined to be responsive and the bidder is responsible, and we recommend the award to AJP Electric. And that completes the 4 projects.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Audra?
Thank you for going through all that.
If not, can I get a motion from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve 3E through 3J and 10A through 10D.
Say those again, the items.
Item 3E.
Mr. Chair, the items 3 were done at the consent
Right,
agenda.
understand.
It's only 10A through 10D.
Understand. Yeah, it's just 10A through 10D is all we need.
Okay. 10A through 10D, sorry.
You got it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Elters. The motion by Member Bracker. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Heard no, I will then. Any opposed? Hearing none, the 10A through 10D pass unanimously.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members of the board.
All right, thank you very much. We move on to item 11. Any suggestions or further discussion by the board? Do we have any suggested items or comments? Member Peshlikai, and then I'll come to Member Alters.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have a quick comment. I just want to say thank you to everybody that came out to Cameron last month. It was a lot of fun. You were the highlight of our year. There's like 800 people that live in Cameron. So it was a lot of fun, but it's on Highway 89, which is the only road that goes from through Arizona all the way through north and south that connects us to Utah and is traveled a lot. But I appreciate being here, and also thank you to the community of Nogales. I'm an indigenous person, and so I feel a sense of my ancestors being down here, have some Apache. And so when I visit, I have a different lens as I see the communities, and I just really feel a sense of how international Arizona is and how important our environment is, and how national politics and global politics affects the lives of not only human beings but also wildlife. And so I just wanted to share that with you, and I appreciate the visit and how welcoming and respectful the community of Nogales is, and I look forward to coming back down here. And I also appreciated the discussion we had on the Arizona Smart Fund, and it's a good thing that we have some folks here that will be in the state legislature coming up soon, so we can impact some of those funding sources. Thank you, and have a great, I guess, harvest season. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Elders.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So you gave me an opportunity earlier to, if I had any comments, and I passed. I have since reconsidered. If the offer still stands, I do have a couple of comments, and really one of them in particular, which is not often you are associated with a project and you get a chance to come back and hear about it after it's been completed. SR 189 is one of those, and I couldn't help the discussion last night with the mayor and the supervisors and others from the area as to what this project was promised to be and what it has turned out to be. And it has really exceeded expectations on multiple fronts. And just wanted to highlight the partnership that took place between ADOT and the State Transportation Board and the locals. The community here truly championed it, lined up behind it, sold it to the state, the entire state, governor, legislature, MAGPAG, and everyone else as a project that benefited the entire state, not just the community. And it is so true. And it was great to hear about it last night and to see it functioning just as anticipated. So kudos. It's really an effective partnership that could serve as a model, and I just wanted to highlight that. Thank you.
And Member Giles, I'm going to come to you if you've got any comments after Member Bracker.
My comment was Arizona, the director, Toth, and staff have put together this listening tour, and the technology component of the listening tour, which is nextmoveaz.com. And these are tools that give the general public easy access to ADOT and to the board and to highlight the needs of their community. And I would encourage people to use these tools. They're new, they're not widely known, but log on to AZ Move, nextmoveaz.com. Sorry, nextmoveaz.com. Fill out the survey, talk about your project, get it on the map, because that is how these things move into the 5-year program. And this board and transportation projects move really slow, and you want things done yesterday, it takes 5 years. But it doesn't start until you speak up and you log on and you make your comments. So please, these are great tools. This is very innovative. Thank you, Director Toth and staff, for coming up with them. It's great stuff.
And Member Giles, just want to check in with you one more time. Appreciate you joining us online. Do you have any comments you'd like to make in closing?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I apologize for not being here in person. Had some some conflicts that prevented me from traveling to Nogales today. Forward to getting back there soon, but thanks to staff and to the board for a great meeting.
All right, thank you. We appreciate you joining us. All right. Just one more shout out to the community. It was a very enjoyable time last night. A lot of great discussions, a lot of good turnout here today. And again, this region drives a lot of the state's economy. So keep up the good work on your behalf, and we'll try to do what we can to support you. And with that, I will bring this meeting to adjournment.